My fellow snares, we are in the midst of a battle for the soul of this nation. Earlier this month, beloved rapper Chet Hanks declared summer 2021 as White Boy Summer, and the accompanying song is poised to be its soundtrack. If we as a collective people do not push back and choose another song or album, then we shall become one nation under Chet. Let's see if any of this month's artists can turn the tide. First up is CGI Hell Demon Danny Brown. Brockhampton, Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine.
I worry that Brockhampton are going to be running from comparisons to the Saturation trilogy for as long as they continue to exist, but I think they've also realized by now that the way to get past that is not by remaking the past, but by forging ahead with something else. And while this record does sound like they're still trying to figure out what that something else is, I'd argue not many other bands can make that process as engrossing as these guys have over the past few years, so yeah, no, I enjoyed this one.
Godspeed You Black Emperor, God's P at State's End.
Like, it's literally good. I'm not gonna tell you it isn't.
Floating Points, Pharoah Sanders, and the London Symphony Orchestra. Promises.
If you take this in as one 47-minute long song, it's one of the best of the year so far. That said, it didn't really click with me until about 35 minutes in, so while I wholeheartedly recommend this to you, a part of me feels like that guy who says, yeah man, this show is great, but it only gets great at the series finale.
Eric Church, Heart.
It's missing a bit of soul.
Eric Church, Soul.
Fine, but could've used more heart.
Caro Caro Bonito, Civilization 2.
I know we have fun here, but let me be serious for a second. If Caro Caro Bonito's next full-length album is anywhere near as good as this, Civilization will collapse, KKB will actually establish Civilization 2, and everyone will be forced to listen to either Flamingo or the Bugsnax theme on loop.
Dinosaur Jr., Sweep It Into Space.
This kind of effortlessly good alt-rock takes me back to my 80s days, when my problems and I were both non-existent.
Demi Lovato, Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over.
Demi Lovato has been through a lot. She's battled and overcome some really difficult addictions, and she's been emotionally vulnerable about them, which takes a lot of courage. Even putting aside the fact that she has an audience of millions, she deserves a ton of respect as a person. I also don't think this album's very good.
Paul McCartney, McCartney 3, Imagined.
Man, it's so cool for these artists to lend a hand to this young up-and-comer, you know?
Taylor Swift, Fearless, Taylor's version.
When I was in school for audio engineering, one of our first big projects was called the Sound-alike. You pick a song and you try your best to emulate its performance and production. If this album was somebody's sound-alike, not only would they get an A, but they would be hailed as an engineering prodigy. There are some noticeable differences between this and the original release, but man, if you played some of these recordings back to back with their originals and asked me to tell which were which, I can't guarantee that I'd be able to. And a part of me is disappointed that they didn't try to do much different, but given all of the label drama, I know that that wasn't really the point of this project. Plus, it's nice to see Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner back on the vault tracks. Basically, did you like the original Fearless? Because if you did, then you'll like this.
Jeff Rosenstock, Ska Dream.
Can this be a thing for 2021? Like ska remakes of past albums? When Taylor inevitably does Speak Now, Taylor's version, can that be Ska Now instead?
Greta Van Fleet, The Battle at Garden's Gate. You know what annoys me the most about Greta Van Fleet? It's not the band or their music, it's the discourse. It's the narrative that some subscribe to, that this kind of blatant rehashing of what has been is somehow more authentically music than all this crap that's popular. The kind of narrative that has been perpetuated ever since Air First Wiggle. Is that Greta Van Fleet's fault? No, not at all. Does that make this album bad? No, actually, it's pretty alright. But you take one look at Rock Lover 666's user review on Metacritic saying this album is real music, unlike Cardi B, who all music journalists worship, and a part of you just dies a bit. The Armed, Ultra Pop.
Put aside the hype, put aside the narratives, put aside the bodybuilding regiment, and you still have some of the best melodies of the year so far wrapped in pure artful noise. It's actually got me motivated to join in on the mosh pit that's always happening in my room just off camera. Yo, can I hop in on this mosh pit?
Dude, yes, come on in.
Am I right, fellas? Yo, can I add you on Clubhouse?
Young Stoner Life, Slime Language 2.
Do I need to get through the first slime course on Duolingo to understand this one? Because I don't really care for it, but I want to make sure I'm not disrespecting the culture or misinterpreting something.
Spirit of the Beehive, Entertainment Death.
Yeah, I'm just not getting something here, am I?
Porter Robinson, Nurture.
What a lovely surprise this was. As we get closer to the warmer weather and more people being vaccinated, this kind of wholesome and inviting electronica could easily be a soundtrack to this summer. Which means we finally have a contender against Chet Hanks. It just goes to show you, sometimes when you want to defeat a white boy, you need another white boy.